Good morning and welcome to the ridiculously early J Morning Show. It is feeling particularly ridiculously early today for me, um, but here we are. Um, so uh, yesterday I was doing like kind of a bug triage thing, and one of the notes on one of the to-do items on my list was to ask about the possibility of making a certain J combination become a special combination. So it's I have an idiom I use all the time for the starts with. So if a string starts with a prefix, and well, that prefix is or that operation uh, uses capital E dot, which basically looks for every occurrence of the string. So it's a little bit wasteful. Basically, that's what you do. You take the first you find every occurrence of the string and then see if the first character happens to match that string. Let me say it again. Let me just demonstrate. It's J, right? Let's see. Stream cam. Oh, right. Side of below cam. Welcome to the ridiculously early J morning show. Okay. Um, yeah. So in J you can say ABC, or how about this? You can say banana. Oh, my little control key thing isn't working. One second. Power Toys. Power Toys for Windows lets you remap your keys on the fly without having to rewrite things, but you have to actually run the code. Okay, and we can make this one thing wider. Sorry for the. I just woke up. Normally I get up way early, but I've been editing video and um, whatever. Anyway, so if you say, all right, we'll try that again. I don't know why that was happening, but anyway, this idiom, you take the first composed with the, I don't even know what this thing is called, but it tells you where uh, what? Oh, right. Yeah, it is too early in the morning here. Yeah, so if you say like XXX, you're never going to find anything. But if you say BA, it's going to find right there at the start. If you say B, it's going to find it at the start. If you say A, it's going to find all the A's. If you say N, it's going to find all the N's. Say AN, it'll find all the ANs, and so on. So it tells you the positions in the right argument at which the left argument is um, where it's found. It tells you where to find the left argument inside the right argument. So it finds every match. And if you want the first one, then you compose it with head. So you take this result and you just look at the leftmost character. So this one it started with this one it started with this, but the other ones it did not. Um, so I use that for start with all the time. Starts with for strings or arrays or whatever. So you B A, and it's a little it's a little wasteful because if this string is 10 megabytes of text and this is 2 characters, you really only want to look at the first 2 characters. But as far as I know, this is not optimized in the J interpreter. So I made a note to myself to ask about that. So I looked on, there's a listing of all the special forms. If I go, if you go to somewhere on the J site and then you search for special forms, special combinations. Special combinations. What? Yeah, special vocabulary, special combinations. This tells you like there's special combinations of primitives that basically have their own um, implementation in the J interpreter. And so I thought, well, it would be nice if the thing I use all the time and could potentially be really slow for some things were a fast list operation, right? And so that was my bug report. And I went to go post that, and I realized, okay, well, if you go to JSource, so source for GitHub is up on, yeah, the source for GitHub is up on GitHub, I believe. Much of it is. But I mean, the source for J software is up on, or for the J interpreter is up there on GitHub. And so I filed this bug report. But I was annoyed because this is not like the right way to file a bug report for J. J has always used this system interpreter requests. You go to this page on the wiki, and I guess there's also supposed to be another page for the libraries, but it doesn't seem to be working. So I don't even know if this even exists anymore. Library, maybe? Library. Nope. So I don't know what happened there. But this is not, to me, this is not how I don't want to say it's wrong, but like, this is just not how modern software projects track bugs. And, I have this thing about using heroism, right? Like to me, somebody has to overcome this tool when they have to go and try and implement bug reports. And if this is the tool people want to use, that's great. But I think there are better options now. So I posted this thing to the J mailing list, and right before I filed this bug report, right before I decided I did not want to post to this page, I was like, well, you know what? I posted to the general list that we move this. I suggested we move this. And I listed some pros and cons, and then I did this. I said, I'm happy to help with all the migration work. And then Eric Iverson, who is, I guess, the principal of J Software, and I had a little back and forth, and, well, he went for it. He said, you have the blessing of J Software, and he especially liked my offer to do all the work. So, thankfully, there are only 32 of these bug reports. And I thought that it might be interesting to, I thought it would make sense to since I have a show about J, to actually do the work this morning. Also, I have been a little hesitant to jump in and do any kind of like work where I might go completely astray. Since I am currently in the process of editing episode 11 of this show, where I spent almost 4 hours just, well, a good chunk of those 4 hours about just being wrong about everything, and I'm trying to learn a new video editing tool that is really slowing up the pipeline for uploading these videos to YouTube. So, that episode is coming when it's coming, and I thought I would make my job easier for editing for the next couple episodes after that. So, also, as I said before, this kind of bug triage and what would you call it? Like, this backlog grooming, going through the bugs list is actually a pretty important part of software development. It's not. I don't know if this is interesting for anyone to watch, but for posterity, we will go ahead and record it, and it's there if people want to see it. So, without further ado, I'm actually going to move. So my plan for this episode is to go through this list of 32 items and just kind of talk about each one. I don't know that I'll understand each one. Some of these are cryptic to me. But I'm gonna try it, and then we're gonna put it on GitHub. So I did the first two yesterday, and that was when I realized that, hey, wait a minute, I should just do this on the show. So the first one was to make this invertible. So this, I believe, is pronounced anti-base. Maybe I should have the nuvoc open. So nuvoc is the J dictionary. And give me 1 second. I'm going to turn on my. I just want to make sure this is actually sending up to Twitch because I usually do that and I'm a little paranoid. I use 2 different browsers. One to make sure that Twitch is streaming. And it's also where I can see if people are even here. So hello, one person. That's probably me. Anyway. All right. So yeah, so this, I believe, is called anti-base. I always get them mixed up, base or anti-base. So maybe I should. No, it is base. So this lets you specify a base, and but the this is the inverse of that function. So this is base, and this is anti-base. And so what this does is it produces a should I demonstrate all these? I don't know if I can, if I have time to demonstrate all these, but maybe I'll demonstrate the ones that I understand. So this is like 10. This sorry. So anti-base gives you the digits of a number, and you can say, or so let's do it in base 10. So you can say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Is it backwards? Hang on. Oh, no, it's not backwards. It's the one with the 5 is right. Okay. Wow. Yeah. Sorry, it takes me a while. I just got up. There you go. Oh, but we want 10s. 10, 10, 10, 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So you get all the 5s. Whereas if you just say anti-base, you say. All right, so this is the operation in question, and you can see that it's breaking the digits into, you know, if we switch these digits, then we actually get the digits here. But if you just say 10, actually I think anti-base is not quite. Yeah, base and anti-base. Well, okay, yeah. Let's just stick with the dictionary. I might say some things that are wrong here. I usually have to like kind of load this into my head when I'm working with it. But basically, it allows you to change the bases of these of numbers, and so you can use things like hours, minutes, seconds, and you can take some chunk of time and you can break it into hours, minutes, seconds. So one more second, and you would have had a full day here. But it only gets you the last digit, and whereas if you use, this is the built-in anti-base, whereas if you use the inverse of base, which you might think would be anti-base, it works a little bit differently, and you don't, you were only getting the last digit over there unless you fill in the same side, the same number. I mean, so here, this is what you have to do to get that many digits. And if we put in more digits, you get zeros. And over here, if you, I'm just rambling. I'm not doing a good job of this. I didn't rehearse for this. You would think these are the same. They're not exactly the same, and I can't tell you on the fly how they're different. They are different. I think one of these gets you 5, and one of them gets you the result you actually want, but I'm not sure. Yeah. So okay. So this is the difference that's important. Here, when you use the inverse of base. Right, so this is base. So when you use the inverse of base, you get all the digits. When you use anti-base, you only get the last digit, unless you specify all the, unless you specify the base over and over and over again. And that allows you to cut off into only, so if this, it does allows you to do like a modulo operation. So whatever. I spent way too much time on that. We have 32 of these to go through, and so I can't spend this much time on each one. So I will try and keep my explanations much shorter. Anyway, so this is the first bug, and it was filed way back in 2007, and it's been sitting here ever since. What they're asking for is, can you please make the monad? And really, I should edit this to edit. Can you make the inverse, like, when you actually ask for the inverse, in other likely forms, invertible, so that when you ask for, so b dot -1 gives you the inverse of a function. So when you ask for that, it should, these seem to work, but this one gives you a domain error, and so Dan Braun here is asking for this to work like these. So I guess presumably this would fill in. It's kind of subtle. It's just the parentheses are different here, and so if the parentheses are slightly different, like without the left argument, you're getting some trouble. So anyway, they want an official inverse for this. So okay. This might be I might be unqualified to make this episode, but we'll see. All right, so that was the first bug, which is now number 29. And then reinstate. This is a cutting operation, and it appears like there used to be a way to cut the inverse of cut with the with argument 1 is momentarily undefined, and the previous inverse, which would just give you remove all the boxes. It'll take an n-dimensional array of boxes, and well, I mean, we can look at it, right? So it's cut, right? No, so it's semicolon dot of 1 and hello. Let's do 5 reshape hello. 5 reshape hello, and we'll do so box dot 1. I think 2 or something like that gives you no. I'm not going to try and guess what it does. I think something about it has something to do with like reversing the. I don't know, but when you do this, when you do this, oh, I see. I know what this does. Yeah, I'm never going to make it through this video, am I? So it's if you do this, then it's cutting on the first item. Yeah. So it sees that there's a dot here, and then it cuts on the first item. If you change that to an L, it'll cut on the L's and so on, and it leaves that in place. And if you say -1, I believe it drops that. So this ought to have an inverse, right? And the inverse ought to be to do that. But I guess the case is that there might be like a different interpretation if you are. I guess for multiple dimensions, it's gonna work differently. I'm not sure. I'm just rambling at this point. I'm speculating. I don't necessarily understand all these things, so Well, so here the first, I reshaped it, and it's like a, it's offset everywhere, so it's not gonna work quite the right way. It's not gonna work the same way because it can't find this whole item anywhere else in the thing. But if I did like 20 or something like that, yeah, so 20 of these, it'll find. Let's do 10. Oh, 205. That's why. It'll find the first item and chop. Anyway, yeah, so that's a thing that you can do in J, and the inverse, and there's a whole page about why it's tricky to undo this. In a lot of cases, well, I won't speculate. Yeah. Let's try and keep the commentary to the points where I understand what I'm talking about. All right, so anyway, I'm just going to go through here, and those are the first two. Oh, sorry, this is not bugs. This is bugs. And so cut to fit. Similar to an old request of mine, so we've lost that one. I propose an extension to cut. And so let's do this. Can I... This is going to be kind of cramped, but give me 1 second here. So in this Power Toys thing, we have the ability to do fancy zones. And you can launch a layout editor. Oh, that's huge. And so can I copy this? Duplicate. I want this. And we're going to call... We're going to edit this, and we're going to call this 2 browsers, or 2 panes. 2 panes in lower right. And let's actually edit it. And so I want to first cut this right here. Also, I want to move this over here. And then cut this right here, I think. And let's see if we can make this usable. So save and apply. You can't see this, but save and apply. And then, all right, so did I pick that? Let's see. No. Yeah, okay, we got it. Hold Shift key to activate zones while dragging. So if I hit Shift, there we go. Okay. So now I should be able to, I guess I could have done this manually, right? Are we still readable here? Let's make this a little bigger for... Come on. All right, well, whatever. So we got that, and then I will copy these as I go, and we're going to add these to... Did I not have this open? Now I can't see my... So, yeah, so we'll add these to Shift. Come on. Oh, no, can't do that until you open the window. Shift. All right, so we have a window here and a window here. We can close that. We can close that. And here we go. All right, so we'll try and get through this. We're already half an hour out, but I'm going to plow through. All right, so new issue. I'm just copying these right now. So cut to fit, and maybe I will. Yeah, I'll click on the edit links to get the code here. All right, man, that's ugly. All right, so sorry, I'm trying to come up with a workflow here. I'm going to copy all this. I want to go through and get all the Maybe I'll just make this a 2-bit process. I don't want to waste everyone's time just like editing this on video, but I can edit it offline on my own time. All right, so here we have Dan Braun again asking for, let's see, let's just read from the top. Similar to an old request of mine, I propose an extension to cut. The request is new application of, this is a modifier. Oh, you can't even see this, can you? Cut to fit. So it should apply monads derived from the cut conjunction such that I think this is talking about cutting with tolerance. So this is a the exclamation point dot gives you like a little tolerance option. So when you're comparing two items, you can, that looks like wiki formatting that got screwed up, and you can take, this is talking about taking the last item of the cut and head and behead and stuff like that, or the tail of the cut. This is the tail. This is the behead, maybe. No, I don't know. I don't remember what these do. I always have to look those up also, or experiment them with a little bit. Anyway, yeah, I'm not sure what to do with I'm not sure what to do for inverses other than you. As you. So you is a verb that we would pass to this thing to describe what to do rather than putting it in a box. But what we want here is what we want in this case. So when you're talking about boxing operations, structural operations. So cut doesn't necessarily have to use. We just show cutting it into boxes. You can apply any verb there. So rather than just sticking the result in a box, you could reverse them in place or do something weird like that. So anyway, we just have to consideration ME special code. So you would hope that the people actually working on these give more. All right, so so this cut 503, that was the that is a previous. You see the code is broken here. The wiki code is broken here. I'll go through this later. I'm just going to do like the simple markup, and then I'll come back and edit these some more at the end, rather than try and track down all these bugs, because it'll make this video take forever, or worse, the live stream take forever. But anyway, advantages, they are it's concise. He says, solve the common problem, no worrying about losing the shard. I'm not sure what a shard is. Backwards compatible, centralized, easily optimized. In particular, and the catenation and attendant copying of Y need not be performed. Could easily provide for other optimizations. And oops. I can fix English, maybe, if I could type. And likely future code. Shape of its argument in the spirit of imagine. Oh, those are supposed to be numbered, but whatever. So this was already imported from an older wiki, I think, and you can see it's all like screwed up. So in the spirit of like these, I understand. That's tolerant comparison, and this is inverse. Because this is a power conjunction. This is how many times you do something. So if you do it -1 times, that's the inverse. And so J has a pretty cool support for doing inverses. Reduces the consistency of J. They should be used to sparing. Drawbacks. Okay. I like this. When you make a bug report, you should think about the reasons not to do your bug. not to do your submit new issue. Why can't I submit? Oh, because I don't have a title, and so the title is cut to fit. And we will go through, or I will go through and edit these later to fill in the links that I'm dropping here. Yes, sweetie. Hi, baby. 1 second. I came prepared for this. Baby's waking up. So we have a little bottle of water and some formula. Hi, sweetie, sweetie. We're hungry. Yes, I know. Okay. Make a mess all over the desk. Do these little. I know. I know. 1 second. Hey, where's your little chair? 1 second. There we go. And cookies. Here you go. Somewhere around here, I have a little plastic thing you stick on the bottle, so you can stick on the bottle so she doesn't drop it, but whatever. All right. Is that not how you do markdown for? We'll edit these later. This is a rough draft. All right, so new issue, cut to fit, number 31. After cut to fit, X and Y and adverbs and conjunctions. Could we at some point have an option to turn off the situational definition of X and Y? So be able to use X and Y as here you go. To be able to use X and Y as variables inside a conjunction or an adverb, that makes perfect sense to me. I'm not sure if I like it, but Raul is a very good J developer and very fluent in the language, and if that's what he wants, then I think that makes sense. Where X really means U and Y really means V if neither U nor V are present. Turn off. So it looks like what he wants is, so this is the verb he's defining. Or sorry, the adverb he's defining. So he's defining an adverb. Sorry, right here, this is the adverb. And he wants it to be Y, which would be the right argument of that. So basically ignore the verb and return 0 here. Whereas if you give it the letter V, if you assign this the name V, because you're using that, then it knows not to use Y as V. And yeah, so this, yeah, I can see that I do agree with what he's saying here, because this, you would never want this to be, when you have a conjunction, you have a left verb and a right verb, and then you have a left argument and a right argument. And so you have, and then the left and right, you have a left and right argument to the functions. Those are called U and V. or they can call M and N if you so U or M on the left and N or V on the right, and uh, those are the names of the arguments. So you would never want to use Y as the right argument to the conjunction or to the adverb. It just makes no sense. It's confusing. So yeah, he's absolutely right. This is silly. This is like leftover behavior from ancient times, I think. I would love to be able to turn this off, and I would be very surprised if anyone is using this. In fact, if if someone's out there is using this or old code is using it, it ought to be updated. This is that's like a that's an archaic usage. So thank you, Raul. And again, I'll go and update the thing. So I guess I can actually just, for simple links like this, I can just from 2007 as well. So copy link. Although I'm gonna wait because some of these people might have GitHub accounts already. I don't know if Raul does, but I'll go back and like find all those later. Anyway, so that's X and Y in adverbs and conjunctions. New issue, verb pipelines. Okay, I think this is a nice one too. I've wanted this before. So normally when you make a gerund, you can, if this is what I'm talking about, let me see. Yeah, extension to the gerund executor to produce verb pipelines that I would like to be equivalent to using the at sign to compose the verbs, as opposed to generating a fork or a train or something like that. So the function code 1 is arbitrary. Yeah, this is a great idea. I want this too. What to do for verb arguments? Other treatments are possible. I don't know that it goes into a lot of detail, which you guys can read at your leisure. Okay, so we're gonna just copy this, and again, this is just a first pass. So there we go. So that's, I think, is a good idea. And I'll try and at least get the code wikified or whatever, markdownified, marked down. Oh, that's annoying. Whenever you use the backtick in Markdown. Yeah, we'll just leave it like this. Unless I bet it's gonna syntax highlight all that stuff. We'll see. So Dan says this. I couldn't find Dan on GitHub, but he's apparently got quite a lot of stuff going on. He's got an interesting wiki page, a lot of stuff on the JWiki. Do not consider the for blah 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 blah. Yeah, sorry. All right. Verb pipelines. Okay. Rank of Q. So Q is a factoring operation. The rank of Q, the inverse of Q. And so the inverse ought to be multiplying by line rather than just multiplying everything together. So if you have a table, you'd like to be able to, Dan would like to be able to multiply all the lines of the table. So if you give it a two-dimensional array, then each line ought to be multiplied together. So using this as a synonym for this, I think that, like, just without reading further than this line, I think that makes a lot of sense because you're saving no characters by using this, but for golfing, this is sensible. Also, the monad produces rank 1, Q colon produces rank 1 arrays of integers, so its inverse should apply to rank 1 arrays of integers. I think that's a good idea. It's not for me to judge whether this is a good idea, but I do think it's a good idea, so this is my commentary. So rank of this. Okay. Paste. And I was gonna go through each one of these things and say, like, copied from the wiki, but I'll do that in like bulk or something. In fact, I might even go through and do these programmatically once I have the mapping. Maybe I'll hack into the GitHub API or something like that. I don't know. We'll see. I bet there's a wiki to markdown converter out there somewhere. Although there's so many broken things on here, it's kind of nice to read through them and just to get an understanding of what's going on. All right, so make the dyad execute. What? Dyad execute is formatting. So this would unformat a number. I propose the inverse be execute as it is for monadic dot, a minor, or do as it is for monadic. Sorry, this is format. I propose the inverse be format as it is for monadic do. A minor improvement would be to use a hyphen rather than an underbar for the negative sign. I can't think of a way to make the x and do useful to the inverse. One idea is to make, because that's like a formatting code. Wait, hang on. I don't know what the left argument does. I know 0, if x is 0, then it's going to do a, it treats it as numbers. I'm not sure what the, so the idea is that, this is your, this by itself without an x on the left, so the monadic do just executes J code, a line of J code. But with an x on the left, it's numbers, so it unparses a number. So if you have like a string that has numbers in it, then you can do that. So I'm not exactly sure what the left argument does. I've only ever used 0 here, so I don't know what other arguments there are, and so I also cannot think of a way to make them useful. I see no reason why. So this is yeah. So 0 and so parse the numbers and then double them, and then he wants to double them, and then obvious. It's obvious substitute where you put it back to string has wrong and dangerous semantics. Right. So I don't fully understand this yet, but something along these lines, something to do with parsing and make it invertible in the right way. Okay. I don't need date time, so I can get rid of it. Hello, 2 viewers. Submit new issue. I'm just doing a rough pass of going through the J backlog. Make tacit scalar replacement invertible. I request. Let's guess who this is. I'm guessing this is also Dan Braun. Yep. Scalar tacit replacement. The idiomatic verb for scalar m. So m would be like a number or something, or a character. So equal and, so is it a 5? So is it a 5? And then we have a gerund here. So we have the verb that says is the left argument or is the right argument a 5? And then the gerund, oh, that's why you have, that's interesting. You can put this and sign on either side, but I think, oh, maybe not. I was thinking maybe it affects the way the gerund is formed, but I think this should parse no matter which way you put it. Maybe not. I'm not sure. And then we have this would be, so this is passing this to the, what is this called? Laminate, maybe? Anyway, this is one of the joining operators that joins to arrays, and I believe this adds it to the end. So basically it's adding either a right border or a bottom border, where n is the thing, n is some item. For scalar m and n be invertible. So in and out, okay, I'm not sure. IO negative and IO in out. Tacit scalar replacement. in an IO. So he's converting the. I see what he's doing. He's converting the negative numbers to. He's converting traditional syntax to, you know, with this, right? He's using this to parse. It's not clear to me what he's doing, what this does. I can see what he's doing. So it's doubling it under IO. So he has a string. He parses the string. He doubles it and he returns the string. And the string is. It's not clear to me whether. See, so he's doing something that J's syntax is meant to make unambiguous. So in J, this is -1, -2, -3 because the negative operator applies to the entire array. My guess is that he wants this to mean underscore. He wants this to mean _1. He wants to be able to put the negative sign inside of an array rather than have it apply to a to all the items. So in a string, he wants this to be -1, +2, +3, and then double it. That's my guess. What he's talking about. And so he wants to be able to take this and I guess this operation is not invertible, and so he has to do two separate verbs to make this happen. Not only are they two separate verbs, but they are the same verb. So I don't fully understand the code just by looking at it, but I can see that they're exactly the same, and it makes no sense to have something be its own. This is the this is where you assign the inverse to it. Anyway, taking too much time on this, so let's just go ahead and copy this over. So that's a bit of it. And I'm trying to just do the bare minimum of formatting here. I'm gonna go back and do another pass later off camera, or as time permits. Affiliates 2 3 1 2 3 value. Let's make this there. Oops. Form m atop. What is that? Or that's binding m to equal is redundant. Yeah, these two are redundant. Not so hard to write the latter if you want your function invertible. A similar statement applies to, and we will. I wonder if GitHub has a this is the and GitHub has its own flavor of Markdown. I wonder if there's a way to make it not so to handle backticks nicely. It's a new issue. We'll see. Special code for tacit scalar replacement. I request that the idiomatic. Oh, this is what I just did. Right? No, this is not. This is a different thing. This is I request that the idiomatic verbs for vector and scalar be supported by special code. So he's talking about the same kind of thing, but now he wants a special code for it. All right? So here you go. Parallel, natural, optimizable. That looks right. Oh, All right. All right. E in white space. All right, define U cut OY. Currently the definition of monadic, is that a 0? I think that's a oddly formatted or oddly presented 0. But that's a 0. Yeah, so the U cut 0 of Y. So what does 0 do? Applies to U after reversing Y along each axis. It is equivalent. Yeah, I've never used this. Applies U to Y, so after reversing Y along each axis. It is equivalent to this phrase. I don't think the definition is very useful, and he's proposing a generalization of this. And yeah, we got a bunch of links on here, which I will go back and add. And then proposal seconded by user RDBoss. Okay. I didn't know we had a bejeweled. Isn't that the matching game? So it's like a little flood fill finding operation to find all the 2, 3, find all the matching items. And copy link. I'm gonna go ahead and fill in these links. I don't know why I'm 0. Is as U. Oh, this is a quote, right? As U to Y after reversing Y along each axis. That's true. It is equivalent to. I don't think this definition is useful. I propose a redefinition. I would be very surprised if this is ever used, but somebody out there is probably using it. And then later on, he shows that this perennially. In the forums, for example, how do I apply a function to each axis of an array? Yeah, you want to do that. Even in the sandpile things, you often want. I'm not sure if this is what he's talking about, but like the idea that like you might want to. Well, now I can't think of a good example. Like you're blurring something, you want to do something along the going up and down, then you want to do something going this way, or whatever. I guess I saw all these links here, so that's what I was thought I would just go ahead and bite the bullet. So anyway, so the idea that you might apply the same operation to all the axes without duplicating the code, I guess, is leading him to think that maybe that's the more general approach, rather than having just reversing all the axes, reversing in all ranks. Although that does seem to be the thing that this verb does. Cut is a weird verb. It has like some for example, when I was doing the blit operation, where you take a a chunk of the screen, or an image basically, and you want to paste that image onto another image. So you want to paste a subarray in place. There's two links. You want to paste a subarray in place inside of a larger thing. Well, this cut operation has a way to get you like a specific like subarray, but there's no equivalent syntax or the arguments to amend. There are no equivalent arguments to amend that allow you to use that same notation to paste something into the array. Even the inverse or something like that, it just doesn't exist. Well, I mean, obviously there is no inverse to this cut operation like extracts the array, so it discards everything around the part that you extract, so you can't invert it. Remove between, copy link. Since if an operation loses information, it's hard to make an inverse of it. Copy link. Although a lot of the requests for inverses, these things have kind of a natural inverse. Like oftentimes the inverse of the most natural inverse might be the inverse that for example, if for capital I dot, if you pass it a thing, you don't know how many zeros there are. Like you don't. What am I trying to say? In some cases, this is not important at all. But in some cases, what? In some cases, there's kind of like a natural inverse. You'd want this thing to happen. It's like, this is easy. I want this to do it. But it is theoretically possible that like there's many different ways that are like unnatural, like converting binary numbers, for example. Like, how many a string of numbers that had like 1,000 zeros off to the left. Converting that to a decimal number, gives you the same result as converting it without the zeros. And so what is the inverse, right? So is there really an inverse when you could have all those extra numbers off to the left? But there is a natural inverse, which is the one without any of the zeros, right? So there are a couple cases that keep coming up that people really want the version without the they want the natural version, the one that's the intuitive version, and I guess should I just call it user? Leave the user in there. I guess the tradition has been to not make these implementations when you do that, but people still want them, and it might be nice if you had a kind of a natural intuitive inverse rather than a I guess I can put Dan's down rather than no inverse, but that does break the rule that an inverse actually is an inverse. All right, so submit new issue. We'll go through and edit these again. All right, so change the sequential machine dyad. Yeah, so the sequential machine is a horrendously complicated primitive. It's incredibly powerful because basically they've written the I believe what happened, if I understood the history correctly. Oh, look, we lost a file. So I will remove your comment, Raul, attaching this, or maybe I'll just point out that it's missing. Wait. My name is not Ed, but that is a convention when you're the editor of something, I guess. I know I was just talking about something that I wanted to finish the thought, and then I got distracted, and I don't remember what I was talking about. Oh, that this is horrendously complicated. Yeah, so it takes like a three-dimensional array as its input, and like the third dimension, you pass these pairs of like what to do when you, you're building a state machine. And it's like, well, what do you do if you enter this state, and what do you do if you exit the state? There's like a, oh yeah, I'm sorry, it's so like this would encode like what state do you go into, and what state do you and then what do you do? So you can actually stop the machine, and then this allows you to there's like different things you can do. You can like actually like consume the token and discard it. You can add it to the output string. You can stop the interpreter and things like that, or stop the machine. And so the idea is that you could stop the machine and like maybe have some kind of outer function that every time it stops, it like maybe puts something on a stack or does something like that. So you can actually build like parsers and stuff with this thing. It's incredibly cool. But the idea that it's a primitive is just astounding to me, because it is not in any way primitive. But I think the idea was it was built in. They actually took the existing. My guess is that there was a table-driven parser for J, and they exposed that. Because J basically needs a lexer, right? It just needs a lexer to handle the parsing, because it's only one line at a time. Although more complicated when you add the explicit definitions. But the idea was that I think what happened is they took that and then just exposed J's own interpreter with some parameters to be this dyad. So the simple version will actually lex J code. So if I take this string that I already wrote, and I do have to go in and double quote that, and then add an end quote, and then double quote that, and add that. But it actually lexes the code. It discards the white space and gives you the code. So that this is treated as one token by the lexer. And so then the example for this in the vocabulary, which now I can't even find, but semicolon colon. It's called words. No, what? Yeah, sequential machine. So words is what we just saw. This is words. A sequential machine is the more complicated thing. And you pass it this. Is there an example? Yeah, so you pass it a big complicated thing like this. And I'm guessing these are pairs of numbers. So it winds up being like a three-dimensional array somehow. Yeah, 1, 4, 2. Anyway, it's a pretty elegant data structure, but then on top of that, you've got you box it with like all these other things. Like one has to do with like it's a code for encoding each. You're parsing byte by byte, so it has to do with like how do you map ranges of characters. Anyway, I'm gonna actually use this on the show at some point in the future when I work on the ASCII escape code parser. So we'll talk more about that on that day. Anyway, so where we go, we said we want to change this dyad. It's actually 9 o'clock. Okay, so yeah. How far are we? Change the dyad. Update the dictionary. Okay. Oh, second change. Sorry. Pascal Jasmine has a change. Well, if it's 2 changes, we're going to have 2 dyads. So our 2 change dyad copy, new issue, empty box, emit empty boxes. EW example win maybe. Pascal Jasmine. Okay. I'm guessing that I'll leave it as a quote. I don't know what EW means. Odd number indices. Submit empty. Okay. All right. Submit new issue. All right. Extend cut. How far are we from the end here? Extend cut. We're on 12. Wow. All right. I might have to break this into pieces. All right. Extend cut. I'd like to propose 2 extensions for the cut dyad. I bet you would. Igor Zuravlov. Okay. Zuravlov. Sorry for butchering your name there. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 2, 3. I bet that's gonna not come out nice. It's hard to tell because this is not monospace. GitHub, you should put a monospace editor here. That worked. Okay. Oh, so that yeah, you can't use these indentations. Markdown. I wonder how bad the formatting is on everything else I've done. So I'd like to propose an extension for the evoke gerund for evoke gerund. So that is a what? Oh, we're on extend cut. Okay. So I'd like for the cut dyad. Two extensions for the cut dyad. I'll probably break this into separate issues too, but I've already typed it, so submit new issue. Anyway, what do they want? Required to have position of non-complete shard at the beginning of an array. UN provides that shard at the end of the array only. Following is the model of extension desired. Randomly, for example, only. So you have I10 and you want to put some cuts, then you want to cut it into 3 pieces. Sometimes there is a need to align selected shard within the frame, not to the left of the frame as currently implemented, but to the right and to. Yeah, so this is an interesting verb. This is I'm actually thinking of doing a little demo with the Game of Life, because you can do this in 2 dimensions and take like every, if you have like a table, you can take every 3 by 3 chunk of that table, and you can have a moving window, and it's kind of cool. But you do have to deal with the border cases. So this is I'll have to dig it, whoever's working through this will have to dig into it a little bit. But that's kind of the gist of what he's talking about. He wants some extra finer control over that. And as would I. Cut is this is a very powerful verb, but it has a lot of weird little features on it. Extend evoke gerund. So this is looks like something has gone wrong with the. Yeah, look, you can see it switches font as opposed to. Which is what's going to happen with the markdown here too, because it is uses a backtick in there. Evoke gerund conjunction. So let's go ahead and look at this. We need to figure out how to make a new window. Oh, now can I do it like this? Yeah. Okay. GitHub flavored markdown. Inlines, backslash escapes. Any ASCII punctuation character may be backslash escaped. So, see, the problem is that the backtick is exactly what's happening here. The backtick is, this should be backtick colon, and I think that GitHub is allowing us to say that, and let's see what happens. Yes. So now, can I actually put that in? No. That's not what I want. Right, I want this. I want to escape that. That's exactly what I want. Preview. Oops. Okay. Clicked the wrong button. Preview. I wonder if is there a thing to insert code, Control E. So if I have backtick colon, can I highlight this and press Control E? Maybe it will tell me how to escape it. Yeah, it doesn't know how to escape backticks. GitHub escape backtick. GitHub markdown escape backtick. Yeah, that's my bug. Yeah, but for inline you can't do it. Yes, I agree with that too. Doesn't work inside of backticks. Is to use more backticks. To use double backticks. So you use double backticks, and then a third backtick, and then two backticks. So preview. Double backticks, backtick, and then a third backtick. Preview. Ah, look at that. Wow. Okay, I wonder if that works in Slack. That will make a lot of people happy. This is a very common symbol in K. Okay. I work at a place where we use K. Extended forks. All right, so that right there, that I earned my pay here. So even though the rest of this video is useless, that's what you needed to know. Is random. Blah, 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 blah. All right, so conjunction described page, extended forks. Copy link, and it's 919. I'll probably just do one or two more. Maybe go back and edit these, and then maybe come back tomorrow with a search extension, example only, blah blah blah. All right, so anyway, so evoke gerund. You when you have a gerund, this is wrong too. Like I don't know. I think you're trying to avoid the markup here. What's going on here? Maybe we'd have to read this page to understand the question. Trains data flow restrictions. Aggregating pieces of data by link than dealing with box data. Two-depth execution, execution graph definition, fork. Generalized fork with 4 depth. 5 fork. Interesting. This seems like the idea for making like trains of much longer numbers and having them do special things. So anyway, evoke gerund is a gerund is like a array of verbs. It's really technically it's a array of box strings that describe the verbs, or array of boxes that describe the verbs. They can be nested, complicated things. And so Igor seems to have come up with a plan for making kind of more complicated forks, I guess. I don't know what happened there. Seems to be some kind of workaround for wiki formatting, or a wiki rewrite rule gone awry. All right. Go. I'm gonna edit that. I think these were imported from something. That's an interesting one. Extend fit conjunction. (922). So if I'm not mistaken, the fit conjunction is this exclamation point dot, which we looked at a little while ago. Would allow overtake on a boxed array to supply the fill element suitable for further. So fit is actually does a bunch of different things. So like when you're taking numbers, I can actually show this one because I understand this. So when you take so this says give me the head of this string. So take so yeah, give me the head of this string. Hello. All right. Well, give me the head of this list of numbers. So what happens if you ask for an empty string? Right, you get a box. So if you take 0 shape of a box, so here's an empty box for reference, and then if you take the string, the empty string, take the first item of the empty string and then box it, you see it's actually a space. But you can, I believe. So this is a conjunction, I believe. So it takes a right argument, so it takes this verb on the left, and it takes a right argument that tells you like what you want the default to be. Now, with the default value of x, you can take an x. You don't need that. And if you take like 10 of them, you get an x. Or even if you take like a 5, like your string is hello, then you can do that. And so maybe you fill it in with whatever character you want. So that's what they're talking about here. So that's the fit conjunction. And so now if you, so that's what overtake is, right? On a boxed array to supply the fill element suitable for further processing. Okay. Well, why can't you do that? I would think you could. Isn't that what I just said? So hello world. So we'll tokenize that with the this, and then so now we're going to take 5 of those, and we get empty ones, and then so now we'll put this here, and we'll say, but we'll probably find out exactly why we can't do this, but why can't you do this? Maybe I don't understand the problem. Because a gerund is a box noun, there may be an issue with the second case. It may be the case that a gerund may be a valid fill or other customization so that the fit evoking the gerund would not be possible. However, having a trailing verb, where did I get the word trailing? However, having a verb right argument for the fit conjunction seems possible. So having a verb right argument, overtake on a boxed array to supply the fill for further processing. Oh, I see. They're asking for this not to be not for this. They're not asking for this. They're asking for a verb here. They want what would be the argument to the verb? With a verb right argument, I'm curious about this. This seems very interesting to me, but I don't know what the I don't know what it would mean. So we're looking for fit, right? So overtake. Where's overtake? Fill atom to n. LU right. Left U right. Are you? Only when U is one of these primitives can, yeah, so this can modify any of these primitives, right? But it's always an N. So it's N being just any now. X, V, Y modify certain verbs in ways prescribed in their definitions. Cases N is not a gerund, same as current definition. N is a gerund. Compare with the gerund cases of the merge adverb and power conjunction. Because a gerund is a box noun, there may be issues. However, having a verb right argument for the fit conjunction seems possible. The verb could inspect both X and Y to determine an appropriate fill element. I mean, I guess maybe I guess it depends on what you want it to do. Like, I guess maybe if this is a negative number, you might put something over here. You might put something in the box, like maybe behave differently if you were filling from the left or the right. So -5, maybe you could have like a left bracket here and a, you know, a right bracket here or something. It seems like an sorry, but Ian Shannon, this seems like an intriguing but unfinished idea. You need to provide more of a. Right, I am not the gatekeeper here. This is why we have this up here for discussion. So maybe I will put a comment here that says, "What you talking about?" Oops. Yeah, this is dictionary format. So in dictionary format, 1, 2, 3, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. So the request is to modify this to this behavior to use to accept a gerund. But it's not obvious that you can detect when something is a gerund and when it's not. It's not obvious to me anyway. Because a box structure may or may not be a custom is one as either. Sorry. I wonder if this is a British person and I just offended him. Sorry, Ian Shannon. I will accept your spelling into my dictionary. All right, or it could be ion. All right, extend fit conjunction. So I think this needs more work, but it's 9:30. I think I'm done. So how far did I get? Fast function definition 15. So I got about halfway through. I'll go to 16. I'll just go ahead and do that. Fast function definition. Use. Is this corrupted? Use dot to be recognized as m, where m is based on occurrence of starts a function. Oh, they're asking for this. They're asking for this is direct definition, and this is Henry's. So Henry has implemented this in the source code, but instead of this, we use curly braces. So given that these bug reports are basically going to Henry, and Henry has already done this, I think I'm going to I am going to skip this one because it's already implemented. Execution on cells. Add a primitive or reuse an old one to support cyclically applied to cells of X and Y. Cells. So this is like a. I think you can do. I think what Henry is asking for is I don't have an example off the top of my head. I know that you can take a verb. All right, so first of all, let's do this. Let's use our newfound knowledge here. You can use a this is at Henry H. Rich, right? Henry H. Rich, and yeah. You can use your there's a way to use a gerund and have it apply cyclically. So if you have like the numbers 1 through 10, then you can make the first one. You can have like negative and plus and like insert, for example, will do this. So like let's do something like this. So plus and minus. Well, I don't know if this is going to demonstrate the problem, but let's just do 5, 5, 5, 5, 5, and then insert that. So that's like saying 5 plus 5 minus 5 plus 5 minus 5 plus 5 minus 5. I don't know if I have the same number. Yeah, so I hope that's the same number. So that's what we're doing there. But if you did this with I1010 or something like that, and you did plus, if you did the same thing, it would apply to the whole rows. And I think what he's asking for is the ability to do it cells. Maybe he means boxes. What is a cell? It's not an item and it's not an atom, so cell. There's a glossary. It's not vocabulary glossary of J terms. What is a cell? All the atoms of the noun whose index lists share a common prefix. A subarray of a noun consisting of all the atoms of the noun whose index lists share a common prefix. So atoms, lists, tables, bricks, tables of lists, cells are atoms. It is not clear to me at all what. Maybe he means monadically. So rather than doing an insert like I just said, but oh, I wonder if you can do this now. So, because I believe this is implemented if you say that, and I think if you say one, yeah, so that's doing that. I think this is implemented. I think this is the rank conjunction applied to an to an adverb. I think this is what he's asking about. All right. Well, we'll find out. Apply to cells of X and Y, and I'm gonna submit new request, and I'm gonna leave my comment on this thing. Isn't this what? This was copied from the wiki. Let's edit that to make that clear that this is. And I should put this here so I don't think I'm talking to him. I am quoting him. Copied or migrated from JWiki. Update comment, and now I'm talking to him at Henry H. Rich. Isn't this already implemented? And then isn't this one already implemented? And I will put my my screenshot down here. Let's do I5 and in 0. 5. And we could do 2 as well. Let's do it negative and plus. 0, 5, 5. Do 1, 5, 5. And then 2, which should do the whole thing negative. Which you did. It's not clear what you mean, Henry, but I think you mean this. All right. So it's 9:38. I do need to get ready for work. So I guess we will do a little more of this in the future. I'm still, like I said, editing episode 11 of this for publication. So it'll be a while before I get back to actually programming. But I think this is going to be useful. I think this is going to be actually an interesting video for people to watch. And I also suspect it's going to be a 2-part video. So I don't know if I'm going to upload it in 2 parts or just combine them both now that I'm editing several days ahead now. But anyway, if this is the end of the video, then thanks for watching, and I will see you again soon. Oh, hey, wait, he just closed it. He closed it, okay. Yep, exactly, all right. All right, cool. All right, thanks, Henry. All right, talk to you later. Talk to everybody later. Where's my stop button?